Hi everyone, this is Patricia Lemoine from the Surviving Eating blog on the HealthyPlace.com. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that lots of people usually kind of wonder about, which is how do I talk to someone who has an eating disorder, who I think actually is having an eating disorder? Because it's really important to remember that your assessment as an outside person of what it looks like when someone is suffering from an eating disorder might not actually be what the person is going through. So you have to really keep in mind, I think, that it's always coming from your perception. And I wanted to share a couple tips just because I feel that it's so important if you feel that you have the capacity of helping someone suffering from this mental illness, that you do so. And I also think that it's so important to know what the impact on the person's life can be, both positive or negative, depending on how it all takes place. So first things first, you've read my post, which goes with this vlog, and so you know that it's that a lot of it is in terms of preparation on how to discuss this with someone. A lot of it can be very much in the moment and just kind of going ahead and jumping into this topic. But I think a lot of it should be in terms of where you come from it, with an open mind and open heart, of being willing to discuss and to listen and accept the things that the person will bring up, which might be difficult for you to hear because it might be a reality that is completely foreign to you, especially if you don't, suffer more than the average person about, food issues or body image issues. It might be difficult for you to kind of understand where the person is coming from and that there really is suffering. I talk in the post that goes with this vlog also a bit in terms of how I approach this topic, thinking how I would have wanted to be approached by someone in terms of having an open discussion about it. So I think the most important thing, that to kind of keep in mind is that you have to really, number one, kind of keep it in a very relaxed, comforting atmosphere, a very, open question, how are you doing? If you're eating with the person. So is that the kind of food that you like? Or you could even start talking about how, oh, I've been skipping a meal this morning. I need so much food right now because I skipped and I feel so stressed. Everyday things that could lead to a bigger discussion without necessarily setting the stage for the person to feel like, okay, I'm being like kind of trapped and the person wants to talk about this. And usually if it's meant to be, and if you have an open discussion, the person will feel comfortable and they'll either jump in or just kind of, it won't come out. Number two, I think that you should really also be a very good listener and kind of be able to figure out what is behind the comments. So if the person responds, yeah, I've been feeling stressed lately, or, I'm eating less right now than I normally would, where does that come from? Is it because it's midterms? Is it because it's finals? Is it because the person just broke up with their boyfriend or girlfriend? What is behind it? A lot of it, a lot of what surrounds eating disorders and are at the root of the problem really don't have a lot to do with food or with even body image. A lot of it is even deeper than that. It's really just self-esteem, or and I'm sure you're aware of this, that it's bigger than just food and what's in front of you. So just keep in mind to really listen and kind of, continue to ask open-ended questions, in terms of how does this make you feel? Oh, really? So, what do you mean you feel fat? Because fat, by the way, is not a feeling. I think I've discussed this before. It's not a feeling. If someone says I feel fat, okay, keep asking stuff, because that's not a feeling. There's definitely something else behind it. And the most important thing that I could leave you with is that it's so important, if you discuss this topic with someone that you think is suffering from an eating disorder, to just not leave it at that, because the conversation can be very triggering for the person, and they might not discuss any further, and kind of just stop talking. But it doesn't mean they won't think about the conversation after the fact. So please, find a way to speak to the person again, like whether it's a text, a Facebook message, Twitter, anything. Hey, what's up? I'd like to have coffee. How have you been? I've been thinking about you. Just anything that shows that you're there and that you're still kind of keeping, your ear to the ground in terms of how are you feeling, and you can even touch base a few minutes, not a few minutes, sorry, but a couple of weeks, couple of days after, and just say, hey, you know what, this conversation that you and I had, I think it's so cool that we can talk about these things. Or, it made me think about my own issues, and I'm thankful for that. And they might actually open up again. So I think that it's continuum. Mental health is a spectrum. We're either here or there in the middle sometimes, but it's so important to just keep the lines of communications open. So I will leave you with this message that if you do not think that you have the capacity, the compassion, the willingness to be there for the long haul, not just that one time that you sit down, but just to be there continuously, a couple times after that at least, then maybe you're not the right person to do so. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't discuss issues surrounding body image, food, eating disorders, but perhaps you're not the right person for that one person that you're thinking or having in mind. But it doesn't mean that your intentions are not great. And it doesn't mean that even the comments that you'll make to this person you want to talk to, they won't be something to think about for them, and that it might lead them in one direction or another in terms of thinking about how they feel about that aspect of their lives or of your friendship or whatever it is that is going on with them. So I wanted to thank you so much for listening, and please leave comments. I'm always excited to hear and read your comments, and I, try to answer whenever I can, whenever I have a second. So have a great week, and we'll speak soon. And whatever you decide to discuss, do it with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you for listening.